Argumentation schemes for education and research. This presentation is reviewing different schemes and models of argumentation that were discussed in previous research for the purpose of education, for teaching arguments, for evaluating arguments, and for analyzing argumentation in research. So the purpose of this presentation is to review rhetorical structure and dialectical argumentation and argumentation schemes for instruction and evaluation. So argumentation can be taught and evaluated for its structure, which is form of the arguments, conceptual quality and content, or interaction in case of dialectical argumentation. The first model to consider is Toulmin's model, and Toulmin's model is one of the most popular models in research. And Toulmin suggested the several components for a sound argument. First, the claim, which is the statement being argued, or the thesis. Data, which are the facts or evidence used to prove the argument. Warrants, which are the general logical statements that serve as bridges between the claim and the data. Qualifiers, which are statements that limit the strength of the argument, or statements that propose the conditions under which the argument is true. Rebuttals, which are counter-arguments or statements indicating circumstances when the general argument does not hold true. And backing, were statements that serve to support the warrants. These are backing or supporting warrants, like extra information relevant to the warrant and not necessarily the claim. So let's look at this example. Harry is likely a British subject. This is a claim. Why? Because he was born in Bermuda. These are grounds or data. And people born in Bermuda generally are British subjects. This is a warrant that's supporting the ground, but not necessarily supporting that Harry is a British subject, which is the main claim. On account of the following British status, this is backing, which supports the warrant, extra information relevant to the warrant. Unless he became a naturalized American or both his parents were aliens, this is a rebuttal. So the conclusion that he is a British subject is only likely and is not certain. This is a qualifier that restricts the main claim. Other research found other simple forms in analyzing their argumentation or the students' tasks. So, for example, in Nussbaum and Kardash 2005, they had 4 components only: the final claim, primary claims as the reason supporting this final claim, counter claims, which is the opponent's points of view, and rebuttals for these counter claims. Other research or form of argumentation is focusing on solutions and how the arguer, how the writer or the speaker is defending this solution. So it's not only about expressing an opinion, but also providing support for your solution. So first of all, having a solution, an opinion to solve a given problem, and then solution supporting perspective, and then solution supporting theory, which is a theory relevant to the rights and duty and virtue, and then solution supporting canon, where you provide evidence, reports, articles, papers, books, and authors' opinions, and then counterclaim, which is a claim that refutes the solution, and then counterclaim supporting perspective, and then counterclaim supporting theory. So this is one form of an advanced argument. Then we move to collaborative argumentation, which is relevant to oral discussions and online discussions. And in a book discussion discussing novels, characters, and themes, O'Halloran had 3 main components for analyzing the argumentation. First, the claim as a challengeable proposition about the novel, and then challenge as where a speaker challenges a previous claim, and co-construction as where claims from different speakers build on each other. And here you're not only evaluating the argumentation, but also the interaction. And we have pragma dialectics. It's another model that has four main components for interaction or argumentation. First of all, confrontation, where arguers show their claims. Then opening, people start to accept the rules of the argument. Argumentation itself as a stage here. Opponents provide counter-arguments and challenge the opposite claims. And finally, a conclusion where opponents decide who the winner is and who the loser of the argument is. And in this kind of argument, one party will show concession for the other party. A more detailed analysis was provided in De Vries et al. 2002, and they had the following components. First, a thesis, then attack, they called it attack, like attacking the opposite opinion, defense, defending your own position, concession, and concession is one of the most important factors that should be considered in dialectical argumentation or dialogic argumentation, because usually in research it was found that arguers use it to introduce the rebuttal, so it's a kind of mitigating the coming counter argument or rebuttal, a compromise between the two sides, and finally an outcome, a resolution, reaching a resolution at the end of the argument. And these are the references of the different studies, providing different forms to analyze argumentation. Best wishes.